Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the Lionel Postwar 41 turbine switcher. This little guy's in pretty good shape, other than missing one of the struts in the window. And I believe I have a replacement part for that somebody sent me, and I should probably put it in. But I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do a couple of things in this video. We're going to clean this up and service it, and we're going to add directional lighting, which I think is a lot of fun in this little switcher. The Lionel 41 Transportation Core Turbine. I was not going to service this today. I was just fiddling with it, trying to do directional lights, and next thing you know, it's all apart. So I figured I'd clean it up. And then I said to myself, well, if I'm going to bother with all that, I might as well do a video on it. What really started me on this weekend was this coupler had come off. Maybe right after I bought it or when I bought it. So I just went and crazy glued it back on. Now I've got one on each end and I don't have to run it backward anymore. So that's a win. I don't know if I've ever completely taken one of these apart before. I'm glad I took it apart because once I started to take things out, I realized how stiff the armature was. Since I have everything cleaned up, I'm going to shoot some Labelle 106 down here by the gear. Again, this bushing, plastic bushing, sleeve, whatever you want to call it, sits right in here. Hopefully it will go back in. Okay, to get that in, I had to place it as best as I could and rotate it until it kind of fit better. And then I placed my thumb on it and just squeezed until it popped in. So it's in there now. Let's see, what should we do next? Maybe we'll put the pickup back on. When you do, don't forget the isolator. It's always good to remove these, take them off and clean them, because a lot of times you will find oil in between these layers that seep down through the locomotive. So it's good to clean that up. When I was removing the armature, it really didn't want to break loose of that bushing. That definitely fits a lot nicer in there. It's held in place by these two. Always make sure they move freely. It's important not to forget steps, like this one, putting this ground back in here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, the motor's back in. Looks good. Unit is cleaned up. Each of the yellow wires goes to a brush. The green wire goes here. And the black wire here gets soldered to the pickup point on the E-unit. Soldered the green wire, put a little bit of shrink tube on there to protect it. I'm not shrinking that down just yet. That should be it. It should work now. I say should because you just never know. All right, I took it over to the layout and it worked pretty well. I wouldn't call it a smooth runner. I don't know that these were designed to be smooth runners, but it runs and it runs better than it did. What I'm going to do next is attempt directional lighting. What I should do is attach the negative lead for the LEDs to this green wire that makes its way to the coil there. And then attach one lead to this side and one red lead to that side. And that should give me directional lighting. So we'll see what happens. All right, for now, this just needs to be good enough to test the theory. So everything's at least temporarily connected. So let's see if it works. And it does work, which is always nice. This side of the brush plate is reverse. This side is forward. Now, I had tried this earlier, and this is what part of what got me going on messing with this engine today. And the mistake I made was I soldered the negative end here, and that didn't do the job. It just illuminated both lights regardless of direction. So you need to get it here from this side of the coil, and then each of the points. So I'm going to do a little bit better of a soldering job there, and then see how I'm going to go about getting these installed in the engine shell. Okay, so I resoldered everything. The black wires from the LEDs and the green wire from the E-unit are now inside a piece of shrink tube connected to the wire going into the coil. Then I just have to figure out where to stick these wires for the LEDs. There's not a lot of room inside this locomotive to work with. This one should be rear, this one should be forward. Maybe I should check before I go and put them in place. Yep, I got it. So I popped the lenses out of the lights, mainly because they just came out really easily. I was hoping either a 5mm or a 3mm LED would sit perfectly, but the 5s were too big and these 3s, not the best. So if I put the lens back in, I need to secure the LED kind of about right there, and then cover it over with a piece of tape and hope it has enough clearance that it doesn't hit the top of the E-unit. I just don't feel like doing that. So I think, at least at this point, what I'm going to do is hot glue the LED into the housing. You know, if I don't like it, I can always remove it and redo it. I could put hot glue in from this side and then insert the LED. Maybe that would give me some look of a lens. I could also not put any glue in the lens itself. Just put the hot glue right here and set the LED into it. The problem is I feel like there's going to be no way to hide these wires and you're just going to see it through the window. Maybe that's not a big deal. I don't like seeing wires. I did a nice sloppy job with the hot glue on each side and just kind of wiggled the lights in there. And the question is, where do they go when I put the top on? And will they be visible? And will they be getting in the way? And will I end up taking them out? Okay, not horrible. Most of the wires are more or less hidden. You see this one red wire here. But for the time being, I'll let it go. One of the things I don't like about this shell is how they secured it with one screw in each corner. It's just not a very good method. I mean, I don't know a lot about these models, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the shells are warped because they're held down in opposite corners. And I lost one of the screws. I dropped it on the floor and I can't find it, so that does not make me happy. So now that it's back together, let's see if it all still works. So the rear LED is working a lot better than the forward LED. So I'm wondering if it just doesn't have a good connection. I'll have to get back in there and take a look. It's been a little while since I did the first part of this video, and I've run this engine a fair amount in the meantime, and I do have to say the front light is working a lot better. You can't necessarily tell in the video because due to the LED and the frame rate of the camera, it looks like it's flickering, but it's actually pretty solid. It's a little flickery at low speed when it's starting up, but then once it's going, it's pretty good. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.